right. Here we go. Here we are again with another UST podcast for you. Got a little different one. Going to talk about it's the main topic is top fives. So for our first top five NBA players of all time. And we kind of mentioned this at the beginning of our podcast. But I don't think we did top five. I think we just did LeBron versus Jordan. I can't remember. But Brett, go ahead and do your top five players of all time in the NBA.
So, my first one is Kobe Bryant.
What?
When you look at, like, who was, I don't know, it's Kobe Bryant's just one of the most impactful,
right,
most successful, most dominant players of his time.
Okay.
I don't think, we really appreciate the fact that he was Michael, but better.
Yeah.
He didn't win as many titles, but he was more skilled.
Yeah.
And I think that should account for something. Number two, I'll go with Jordan.
Okay.
I think the title, you got to take into the fact that Michael Jordan got to the finals and got it done 6 times.
Yeah.
Three, I'll go LeBron. I think for me to put LeBron above Michael, he needs to get one more. But he's got everybody else beat in every single category.
Yeah.
So 4, I have to put Kareem. He was just so dominant throughout his career.
Yeah.
He invented a move that was unstoppable.
Right.
And he was such a pioneer for the game. 5, this might be a crazy one. I'm putting Larry Bird top 5.
Okay, Celtics fan.
I have to.
I understand.
Larry Bird had that dog.
He is a dog. For my top 5, I'm actually going to start at 5. I'm going to go. Man, there's a lot of Lakers in here. I'm going to go Magic Johnson at 5. That might seem kind of cuckoo. But also, I'm not putting Bill Russell in my top 5. So that is why Magic Johnson is 5. Bill Russell played against plumbers and people that didn't even know how to play basketball. So I'm going to pick at 5. I'm going to pick Magic Johnson. Great. One of the best point guard of all time. So that's got to be worth something. The best point guard of all time. Average 11 assists over his career. It's 2 steals per game. And I think what was it, 4 championships? I can't remember. Maybe 5. Like 5. So winner, top 5. Now for 4 for me, I'm gonna go with Kareem at 4. All-time scorer, obviously LeBron passed him, but all-time scorer at that current time, played for 20 years, 10 first-team selections. You can't have a top 5 and not have Kareem. I think that's an obvious. He was dominant. Yeah. 19-time All-Star, 6 MVP awards. Like, he's gonna be top 5. He's number 4 for me. Number 3, I have Kobe Bryant. Like you said, transcendent player. More skilled than Michael Jordan, I don't think. But without Michael Jordan, I don't think there's a Kobe. So that's why I didn't put him first.
Okay.
Without Michael Jordan, there's no killer mentality, and I think that's where Kobe. He was a killer, but to be friends with Michael Jordan and to learn from him, especially when you're growing up, I think that's where the killer mentality came from. Honestly, it's what you grew up with. His mentality is insane itself, but without just like I think Kobe said this. Without Michael Jordan, there's no Kobe. Or maybe it was the other way around. I don't remember. But that's number 3 for me. Number 2, I have LeBron James. Like you said, he needs one more to be top number 1 for me. He is the best. It's gonna sound weird to not put him number 1 for me saying this, but he's the best player in the top 5. Like best basketball player in the top 5. Now, when I think of top 5, I think of championships, overall impact, first team selections, defensive selections. LeBron doesn't have a. He has one. I think he has a second team or something. First team, in 2012, but defensive selection. But obviously he wins one more. He's going to be number 1, and he's the best player in the top 5. And then when it comes down to it, number 1 is Michael Jordan for me, and it might always be. Personally, I know I just said LeBron James needs one more, but when you watch Michael Jordan, because when I grew up, my parents watched Michael Jordan, so they showed me Michael Jordan stuff. That's who I grew up with, and on top of watching LeBron James, and I just thought Michael Jordan was a killer, and that's kind of what I've always been attracted to, is the killer mentality. So that's my top 5. I think it's a pretty solid top 5. Now going into top 5 scores all time, and I'll start this one. My number 5 is top 5 scores. I'm gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with Larry Bird at number 5.
Okay.
Shot the ball well, obviously. When the 3-point line came out, shooting the ball all over the place, and then he could shoot either way, with either hand. Sorry. And then number 4 for me, I'm gonna go. You got to put LeBron James in there. He's the most points ever. I know he's not he's not thought of as a scorer. You thought of him more as an all-around player, but I'm going to put LeBron James at 4. Give him his flowers. I hate to be a TikTok person and be on LeBron James all the time, but LeBron James number 4 for me, and then number 3. Thinking, I'm going to go with Kevin Durant at number 3. 6'11", shoots the ball insanely well. Probably very unheard of someone that can shoot like him and just never miss at 6'11". And then number 2 for me, I have Kobe Bryant. Obviously we talked about it, killer mentality. What is it? 33,000 points, top 5 all-time scores, and he was the best scorer he didn't pass the ball. Now number 1 for me, and I'm gonna pick Michael Jordan. If he had, I'm also going to, say like, Michael Jordan could play defense too, and he did other things, but he was a scorer. I mean, top 5, and he only played 13 seasons. If you would have played LeBron James of 20 years, he would have had, I think he would have had easily 50,000 points. If that's insane to say, but I think he would at least had like 45,000 points. That's top 5 for me. But go ahead.
Okay. My number 5. I might have to go. I'll probably go Tracy McGrady, number 5.
Ooh, okay.
He was an absolute dog. 6'8", smooth guard with a handle. Pull up. Just insane. Number 4, I'll probably go Larry Bird.
Okay.
He could shoot from anywhere. You watch clips of Larry Bird play basketball, and it's the most insane thing you've ever seen. I mean, he just shoots the craziest shots and makes them.
Right.
Number 3, I think I would probably have to go with Kareem.
Okay.
He set the record with only 1 3. Buddy was working in the post.
Right. He was a great post scorer.
Like
Obviously.
the skyhook is like it's such a tough shot, and he perfected it.
Right.
It was automatic. Number 2, I think I'll go with LeBron too. He's got the record, and he's another one of those guys. He can score from anywhere. The only kind of knock you can give LeBron is that he's not a great free throw shooter.
Yeah.
But that's really about it.
Yeah.
And then number 1, I think I might have just screwed myself. I'm gonna go Kevin Durant number 1.
Okay.
I think Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Kobe, phenomenal scorer, improved on his game, like did what Mike did but better.
Yep.
At a higher level. Shot the 3 better. Kevin Durant is probably the most unguardable person on the planet. How do you stop
100%.
somebody who's 7 foot with a high set point, like can just shoot over everybody, can pull up at any moment, has the cross, can drive and finish. The mid-range game is elite. It's insane.
I would agree that he's the most dangerous scorer right now, for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe of all time. Just dynamic. I think that's it for that one. Next one, top 5 players to never win a ring. And I'll let you go first on this one. This one would be kind of interesting, I think.
Okay. I think consensus number 1 is probably going to be Allen Iverson.
Okay. I would agree with that. Yeah.
I think he got close but was never able to make the jump.
Yeah, to that pinnacle,
Yeah.
won one game.
2
in the finals.
I'll probably put this. This might sound crazy. I'm gonna say Charles Barkley too. Maybe not Charles Barkley. That is kind of crazy, actually. He was like. I feel like people forget how dominant Charles Barkley was.
Yeah, especially his MVP years.
Especially because he's like you look at him now and he's kind of like just a joke. Like just all he does is have fun with life, and so it's like it's hard to forget he's
one of the best.
Great basketball player.
Right.
So maybe I'll put Charles Barkley 5. I'll have him on the list.
Okay.
2, I'll probably put. This is tough. I might put Steve Nash, 2-time MVP.
Okay. That one's good.
He was a dog. Steve Nash was a dog.
He was a dog.
3, I'm going to go John Stockton. All-time assist leaders. Those Jazz teams were tough. They made it to the finals, didn't win. Then 4, I'd probably go Dominique Wilkins.
Okay.
Another great player, electrifying scorer, could dunk the ball really well. Never was able to get to the promised land.
Right.
What about you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was 4. For me, my top 5 is going to be, I'm going to start at 5. I'm going to go with, at 5, I'm going to go with Karl Malone. No matter what he did with, legally, we're going to just talk about him in a basketball sense. Karl Malone at my number 5, 3 NBA Finals appearance, got dusted by Michael Jordan many times. But he was a 2-time MVP, 14-time All-Star. His numbers retired by the Jazz. I think he could at least be on number 5. And I think that John Stockton could be 5A, 5B, those two in tandem. And then for me at number 4, I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Allen Iverson at 4.
Okay.
Like you said, he is. I would agree with the number 1 pick. I'm cool with that. But and he also changed, basketball just like Steph Curry changed basketball, and kind of was a culture icon. But he just couldn't get over the hump and couldn't get over Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant was during his youth. And then number 3, I'm gonna go with Russell Westbrook.
Okay, I like that.
I know that he is a present player, and he might win it this year with the Clippers. They're kind of on a down streak right now. They're my Clippers. Yeah. I know I told you that they're going to win it all, but they're not doing too hot because James Harden's kind of selling. But yeah. Russell Westbrook, I don't think he's going to win again. I'm sorry, Russell Westbrook. But I put him at number 3. Obviously, one of the best of all time at the point guard position. Number 2, I'm going to go with Elgin Baylor. That's who I'm going to go with at 2. 8 final appearances, and didn't win one. He had to leave for Jerry West to take them and win the finals. But Elgin Baylor, 8 final appearances, and no wins. Imagine going to the finals 8 times and not winning. That would just tear you apart. But 10th time, first All NBA first team. Obviously, it was in 1958, so come on, they're playing plumbers. But he was a great player. Held the record for most points in a game or most points in a playoff game. He was a great scorer. Just couldn't get over the hump and make the Lakers who they were at that time. And then at number 1, I'm gonna go with this might be insane, but I loved watching Carmelo Anthony when I was growing up. At 1, I'm gonna go with Carmelo Anthony. Watch him on the Knicks on like Christmas Day games. Yeah. I'm gonna put him at number 1. One of the best of all time. He's probably gonna make the Hall of Fame. Or definitely gonna make the Hall of Fame. Because of his scoring output and how he just took that Knicks team just by himself, carried that Knicks team. They kind of did him dirty. He should probably stay to the Nuggets, but that's okay. That's my top 5. All right, going into another top 5. Top 5 iconic shots of all time. I'm gonna go first. My top 5, my number 5, and Kyrie Irving used to be my favorite player growing up. Like like in middle school, I loved watching him in middle school when they were in that NBA Finals run. The Cavaliers were. At 5, I'm going to go with his 3-pointer in the Game 7 when they came back from 3-1. And came back from 3-1. He daggered 3-pointer, step back 3 on Steph Curry. That's my number 5. And then if you've seen the Michael Jordan documentary, this is one of the best shots of all time. I'm gonna go with Michael Jordan at 4, shooting over. I forgot his name. I don't remember his name.
Craig Elo.
Okay, Craig Elo. I'm gonna go with that at 4. At the foul line jumper, Cash, one of the most clutch players of all time, Michael Jordan. Then at 3, I'm gonna go with one of the shots that's not a NBA final shot, but I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard against the 76ers when he was on the Raptors.
Okay.
That kind of the ball that bounced back and forth and went in.
Bounce.
Yeah. I'm going to go with that one at 3. So they won the finals that year. So, if that didn't happen, they wouldn't have been there. And then at 2, I'm going to go with Ray Allen's bang from the corner 3, saved LeBron James's legacy himself. Honestly, and LeBron James, I think, has said that, literally saved his legacy. And Breen with that great call of bang when he makes it in the corner. And then, got to go back to the Michael Jordan, Brian Russell in the Game 6. We were talking about best players to not win a finals. This man right here single-handedly did not let Karl Malone win a finals. Just killed Utah Jazz with its clutch shots. And it might have been a push-off against Byron Russell in the 1998 NBA Finals, but one of the most clutch plays of all time, and they're probably not going to call a push-off with 5 seconds. But no. Yeah, that's my top 5 of most iconic shots of all time.
Okay. So for me, number 5 might be because of the celebration, but Reggie Miller,
the
choke.
That was one of mine.
That's just crazy against the Knicks.
Right.
This is iconic.
Yep, iconic.
Number 4, I'll do. Number 4, I'm gonna throw in the Kobe fadeaway against the Suns.
Okay.
Where he bites the jersey.
Yep.
That's another one of those game winners. It's so crazy. It's so insane. It's just such a Kobe moment.
Right.
Number 3, I'm gonna go with the push off. In air quotes. Michael Jordan against the Jazz.
Right. Of course.
It's if you call that a push off, you have to call half the moves in the league a push off.
Yeah,
Come on.
Especially like during that time. That's probably
not
during that time.
2, I'm gonna go with Kyrie over Steph Curry.
I like that.
I remember watching that, and that's just it was so insane.
Yeah.
And he also did it against the Spurs that year to win a game. It's just Kyrie Irving used to be such a dog.
Yeah,
he still is.
He was one of the clutch players in the league at that point. He was so clutch.
Cavs Kyrie was undefeated. The handle, the finish, the shooting, it's just I miss Cavs Kyrie so much.
Yep.
And then number 1 is the bang bang Mike Breen. Rebound Bosch, back out to Allen. I don't think anybody hated the Spurs more in 2013 than I did.
Right.
So,
it was
seeing that moment, it was just, oh my God, it was so good.
That one's for sure iconic, and Mike Breen did his own, Mike Breen is probably part of that because of how he called that game.
Yeah.
All right. So those were our top 5 most iconic shots of all time, and we're going to go into best, not top 5, but best random 2K players Obviously low overall players that just go off in 2K.
Yeah.
And I'll go first on this one. It's probably someone you've never heard of before, but I have his jersey, his Lakers jersey. It was on the Magic Johnson team, I think.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Kurt Rambis, looked like a school teacher. I'm playing one of my buddies. I have he has Kurt Rambis, and he dropped 65 with Kurt Rambis, some random bench player. The most insane, he just bucket from the free throw line, elbow. He was just a straight bucket. I think he was like 65 overall. So,
yeah.
And he looked like a school teacher with his goggles. But Kurt Rambis probably be one up there for me. And then this might be yours too. Gerald Green. I don't remember what 2K this was, but Gerald Green and Mayo on the Suns. I can't remember OJ Mayo, I think it was his name.
Yeah. OJ Mayo.
Yeah, he was a dog. Gerald Green and OJ Mayo were dogs. Just straight buckets from the outside. But those are probably my best random 2K players that I can think of.
Yeah. I remember like 2K14 campaign on the Thunder. I'd always sub him in instead of Reggie Jackson. Like I would be dropping 50 bombs, like no problem with him. Like it felt so natural.
Right.
It felt so good. Like my dad would get so mad. And then my other one, if I had to, I'd probably say Trevor Ariza.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Trevor Ariza is one of those guys you can just get buckets with.
It was like, especially in my player, he was so good in my player.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to conclude this week's podcast. Little top 5 updates and going over our top 5 for a lot of different things in the NBA. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on X. We're going to push out more content eventually once we get some time and start editing these videos. That wraps up this podcast for this week. Have a good night or day whenever you're listening to this. See you guys later.